Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guests.
Hey, my name is Adam Von Clausen.
And I'm Knockturnal, and we are Dreamst8.
Hell yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are individually and what your roles are in the band, and we'll go ahead and start at this end.
All right. My name is Adam. Obviously, I just said that. But yeah, I'm full-time bass player for Dreamst8. I'm also contributing rhythm guitar to the album. Mm-hmm. And I'm also co-producing, helping Echo kind of just get our vision out and get it going. And I do a lot of the graphic design work and basically managing the band at this point just until we can get some more stuff moving.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm also a bass player myself, and I do all the graphic design for the show, so we are kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits, like it.
And then what about you?
So, yeah, I'm Knockturnal. I'm the MC, and I'm the MC of the group and vocalist of the group. Mm-hmm. I do a little bit of the backup singing and also some of the growling as well, too. Help with the concept of the songs and just help piece it all together. Do a lot of do some of the co-promotion on social media, mm-hmm. and also I'm going to be doing a lot of printing our merch as well, too.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll have to hit you up when I'm ready for show merch.
Absolutely.
And then are there any other members of the band that aren't here with us today?
Well, yeah, we just recently brought on a new member, Dusai Ray. He's going to be our DJ. He's also a really good light engineer, and he's going to be a great step up in our overall live show for sure.
Oh, okay.
We're looking forward to having him in.
That's a big step for sure. Big fan of anybody who knows lighting stuff. That always goes a long way. And then
genius with that stuff, man.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, he is.
And then I do just want to give a quick shout out to Echo for connecting us all together. And I know he's working with y'all a little bit as well. What's he doing for you?
He's producing the EP that we're about to release here in a couple months. He's also contributed vocals to each track. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of working himself into the position of basically managing this band at this point. He's been doing so much. He's been giving us so much information and
huge help.
It just makes sense for if we're gonna pick somebody, that's gonna be our guy.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
he's such a big part of the community and stuff. So I mean, if he's willing to see what you guys have, he definitely sees something.
We love his community involvement. Everything that he does, man. He's always bouncing back and forth from here and there. He's always doing the coolest shit.
Yeah, very much so.
Wild, like every time we're talking to him in our band chat, like he's talking about some crazy celebrity that he's like hanging out with or whatever, just doing something wild. Like
we're just hanging out with Franzilla today, and we're just hanging out having a fucking burger or something,
Oh yeah, but this isn't his interview. This is y'all's. One more shout out to Echo. Let's go ahead and talk about just a little bit of like what got the band started. What's the origin story?
So I guess that would be a big part where I come in. So originally this a friend of mine, his name was Van Playa. We did a hip hop show back in about 2010 where he needed help to do a full set. It was like one of his first shows, and we decided to do a combined set. We vibed really well, and we're like, we did awesome together. Why don't we start a hip hop duo together? over the years, there was a couple other members who came in and out. At one point, we had 4 MCs.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was pretty crowded. We had 4 MCs, and at that time, a guitar player too, because we wanted to build it up to being just a full-on band and having just not just a hip-hop show, but just this experience.
Yeah.
And from there, we found a drummer, found another vocalist, got a bassist on board, and found another guitar player. You know, at those guys, though, it was more...
Yeah,
they wanted to do other things.
When he were still doing the DJ or the MCs and the guitar player, they were going under the name
Disintegrated.
Mm-hmm. And then when we finally got a full band together, we transitioned that into Dreamst8, of a new era that was spawning for us. And that ran up to 2018. And then now, where we're at now, we are in the Dreamst8 era.
Gotcha.
The new evolution of how that's how it bounces from piece to piece. Very generalized and easy, but
yeah, the fans have mostly noticed really as primarily DS8.
Gotcha.
That's where we've gone, because the DS8 has been the consistent
it's
all of the names.
Yeah.
Like, it was in the Disintegrated name where the end of the name had an 8. So we have fitted that in with every one of the names that's just been the consistent since the very beginning of it.
Yeah, so it's a generational moniker in a degree.
yeah, and it's easier for people to chant DS8.
So,
I could dig that, and that's kind of it's cool because it's like everybody will know what you're talking about, but like by like mentioning the eras of it too, you can tell like how far back someone has been a part of it first.
Right.
That's
Definitely.
kind of an interesting way to do it. I dig that.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple questions I like to check in with everybody on, just kind of consistent format questions. And so we're going to go individual for this one, and we'll actually start at this end. This first one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Limp Bizkit, Hybrid Theory. Yeah.
Biscuit Hybrid Theory?
Wait a second.
Or not Hybrid Theory, Significant Other.
I was like, hold on a second.
Significant Other. Yes.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park Hybrid Theory actually was like my second or third one. So like,
Yeah, they all kind of blend. Yeah.
It'd be funny to have somebody do that with AI now and match up like Fred Durst's voice.
Oh God, that
Hybrid Theory.
would definitely be a big
man.
experience for
That
sure.
would be hilarious.
be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Whose fans would be more mad about it though?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. But definitely an interesting first choice. And then what about you?
First album I bought? Oh man, that's so hard to say.
It's hard.
Remember the first album that I stole?
You know,
First
I think
album-
statute of limitations will dictate that it's been long enough.
Album that I stole was Easy Does It. Easy Does It.
Okay.
I stole this cassette tape. I stashed it under my belt. We got out of the record store. I only had it for maybe 10 minutes before my mom come walking around the corner. She saw me flashing it because I was showing my friend. And I was like, "Oh, dude, I got this." And she come flying up.
Yeah, she probably wasn't
Man,
too
her
happy about
horns were out, man.
it. Yep.
She got me, snatched me by the back of my neck. She was like, "You're going to take that in and you're going to apologize for stealing that." And I was like, "Oh man, I've never done that before."
Oh no.
So I totally did it, and it humbled me a little bit. And I haven't stolen any other music in that sense. Obviously, you know, we do a lot of
The
streaming now.
digital era is a whole other thing.
Right.
But we appreciate you don't steal from record stores.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. But I mean, still quality first choice.
It was actually pretty funny. That whole scenario just it's one of those memories that just sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a well-learned moment for sure. And then, we'll stick at this end and go backwards. What was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was like specifically one you wanted to go to?
There was a couple. The first show that I was taken to was an AC/DC concert in the early 90s.
Okay.
And I got to see the full deal in their prime, bro. And that was pretty crazy. I think the second concert that I saw at that time was Aerosmith.
Oh, damn. Just heavy hitters right out the gate.
Yeah. So my parents were really big into a lot of these bands already, and they saw that I was gaining an interest to a lot of the music they were already listening to. So they wanted to share that with me and give me the experience. And that's really what opened me up to wanting to be a musician. You know, it's like seeing how cool it was, seeing Angus Young up there, like doing his thing, and he runs around constantly on stage and he's headbanging and he's sweating bullets. And I'm like, you do this every night? Like, you are a god. This is amazing. And then Steven Tyler just like doing his thing. He was amazing. I think that was like the Pump album. Man, that early Aerosmith stuff, not like 70s obviously, but you know, 90s era. For me, it was early.
Yeah. No, I dig that. That was wild. I was fortunate enough to see one of the first shows. It was not the first concert I ever went to with my own money, but one of the first concerts I ever went to was Ozfest 2005.
Nice.
And one of the headliners was Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And that changed my life.
Ozfest opened up a lot of stuff for me too. I got to see 99, 2000, and 2002.
Okay.
There was a year that we actually had here in Portland, our Rock Fest was like at the same time as Ozfest, like it was the same weekend. So, and it was their off day. So we had like a bunch of the Ozfest artists for that year's Rock Fest.
Damn, hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, was that Tattoo the Earth year?
No, they had Slayer, they had Slipknot.
Okay, that was later.
God Forbid, Lacuna Coil.
Yeah, that's
I mean, Hatebreed. It was a wild set. It was awesome.
got a stacked lineup.
It was an amazing show.
Oh, and then before we tangent off too far, what was one of your first shows?
My first show, technically, it would have been a concert. It was actually the Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Huck Jam.
Okay, nice.
They have the Offspring playing live while they had like all the motocross and the skateboarders like jumping over them and shit. It was cool as hell. But my first actual concert that was just for the music was Bleeding Through and As It Lay Dying. Kamira and Soilwork were supposed to come through as well, but I guess their tour bus broke down on the way.
Damn.
But that was, I think, actually like As It Lay Dying and Bleeding Through's like first tour as well. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And it was in a tiny little venue. Do you remember the Meow Meow? Or like
dude.
The original one?
Yeah.
It was like a living room size. The place was so small. And like just considering how big those bands got, it's kind of unbelievable that they were playing like such a small place back then.
Hey, I mean, all big bands play small rooms first. I think that's
Sure.
part of it.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, As They Lay Dying was one of the first acts I saw at that Ozfest. So
That's
very
awesome.
full circle moments for sure. Hell yeah. And then before we get into more of what y'all are doing in the present day, what got you each into music initially, like as the roles that you do now?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Family, honestly. My whole life, my family I grew up with a family of musicians and singers. Mostly musicians. I was one who took up more onto vocals. I enjoyed writing songs. I enjoyed writing lyrics, and I enjoyed doing what I could with my voice. So that's what I took onto. While all of my cousins, my uncles, my grandpa, they all played instruments. And I just admired it so much growing up, seeing them in bands doing their thing. And I wanted to do it so bad because it was just the coolest thing in the world. My favorite memories and my oldest, fondest memories are my grandfather I still have the acoustic guitar that he used to play this with back in the cabin where my family would have this cabin that we would stay in, and we'd fit like 30 of us into this like 3-bedroom cabin, and he would just be playing on the acoustic guitar all kinds of songs and singing, and it just, he made me love music, definitely.
Hell yeah. No, my uncle also really inspired me on a lot of understanding of music. So it's a pretty pivotal role when it kind of comes from that place. But it's cool that you had kind of the whole family experience. So
as long as I can remember, because I mean, some of my oldest cousins are like 15, 20 years older than me. So as my oldest memories, I was seeing them form in bands.
Hell yeah.
Like, I can't remember a time where it wasn't until I'm the only one who's still currently doing music.
Fair.
Where they've gone in other types of entertainment, which is awesome.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. And then what about you?
I believe it was my older cousin. He was in some local bands here in Portland in the late 70s to mid 80s. He was one of my first inspirations for music. He was the first people that I knew that was actually recording music and actually out playing music. So it was pretty inspiring. When I finally met my biological father for the first time, I found out that he was a recording artist, and I was like, "Oh, it's got to be in my blood then."
Yeah, it's genetic
So
for sure.
I jumped into high school guitar playing and stuff, and I was like, "This doesn't feel right. Like I feel like I should be a guitar player, but this guitar doesn't feel right." So one day I'm like at a guitar center or something, and I pick up a bass for the first time, and I started playing it, and I'm just like, "Wait, this is where I need to be." I was like, this is my jam. So once I started to actually dive into bass playing, I was like, I knew right away. I was like, it's done.
Yeah.
I don't need another instrument. This is me.
Yeah, I can sympathize. I can kind of understand with the whole switching thing too, because originally I started just doing rock and metal vocals before doing hip hop, and I didn't realize how easy it was to rap what you were doing even as rock songs.
Yeah.
Like the way that you do it is so similar. I'm like, oh my God, this is the same damn thing. So
Yeah.
I went on to rapping.
I could definitely agree. I thought I wanted to do guitar when I was really young, and my dad was like, you have to do piano first. And
Right.
I wasn't a kid who could sit still. I've told this story on my episode, so I won't leave it here, but the piano did not go well. And then way later, I have 3 friends who all play guitar that were in a band together. It was a 3-band guitar, very Destroy the Runner, Iron Maiden-esque. And they had a drummer and a vocalist and everything. And they were like, Jimmy, you should be in our band. I'm like, what? I don't play anything. They're like, well, we need a bass player so you can play bass.
Right.
And so I went home and I was like, Dad, I think I want to play bass. I'm in a band now. And 2 weeks later, it was my birthday. So we went down and got me a bass. And I just sat there and I was like, this is cool. Like you hit that open E string for the first time and you're like, why is everything shaking? Is this me? Am I doing this?
Like, it's amazing. What is this feeling that I'm getting right now?
Yeah. That and just, I like playing with my fingers anyways.
Yeah.
So like being able to actually like kind of run back and forth with the right hand like that, it definitely opens up something. So
For sure. I would agree with that.
I can resonate with that experience for sure. And thank you both for sharing that.
Absolutely.
But now let's go ahead and let's get on into y'all in the present day. Now, usually this is where I would ask, how'd you come up with the name? But we kind of already covered that, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and let's talk about the writing process. And like, how do you go about putting tracks together? Like, at least for like getting them started.
Oh, man. When me and Knock are very much used to traditional songwriting, putting a band together, getting everything perfected to a T, then going into the recording studio and giving your best takes so you can cut out as much time as possible and get out of there and know that you did a good job. With this is a whole nother animal. This is us just straight coming into the room. We talk about some stuff. I throw him a couple of things that I've kind of been working on. Ricky will throw some stuff that he's been working on. And we're just like, why don't we just mash this together? And then as soon as we mash it together, we're like, okay, now we have a foundation. Let's build this. But literally, it's just the 3 of us coming into the studio, sitting down, talking about stuff and writing the songs right there.
Interesting.
We wrote all 5 songs in a 3-month period of time, from the ground up. And on top of that, he was helping Jonathan try to help him structure to these types of songs. Since it's a little more fast, a little more heavy, a little more different, we needed to make sure that everything was perfected in our minds.
He had to expand my vocals a lot.
Right.
Before him, I was seeing a vocal coach for a few months named Quentin Gardner. And then, I mean, Echo has been great vocally as well, too, where I got to learn a lot of like my growling and stuff and like kind of learning how to go to different tones with Quentin, and Echo continued to perfect that when I went into him, where he was getting me better with my clarity, with just being more boisterous and being louder and being a lot better to hear.
Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is the best that I've ever sounded. I'm really happy with it.
That's rad. And it's cool that you're like willing to, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's cool that you're like willing to even now still expand upon your performance and things like that. I think that goes a long way.
Well, you're never if you think you're at your best, you are.
Yeah.
So you want to think that you're never quite at your best. You can only keep getting better, and keeping that mindset, you will continue to get better.
Yeah, because there's always new
Look at it.
techniques and other styles and stuff that you can always adapt to and you can figure out a way to mash that into what you're already doing and make yourself and what you do 100 times better.
Yeah. Well, that, and I think it is interesting because I kind of grew up in the same way you guys did, with the approach of like, oh, if we're going into the studio, we have to have flushed this out. Like, we need to get in and out. We only have X amount of hours that we paid for. We got to like make every single minute.
Knock it out in one cut.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, like everybody has stuff going on because it's hard to get 10 people in a room at one time.
Exactly.
Like, I remember my old band, Alert the Armory, our drummer had like a big drum line competition that he had to go to. So he showed up with his full kit and all his drum line stuff, came in, set it up, played exactly what he needed to for the track in one take, and then went, okay, I'm out.
That's crazy.
We were like, do you want to listen to it? He's like, no, it's perfect. And we played, we were like, we played it back. Sure shit, it was perfect. This man showed up prepared.
Yeah.
But like those were you had to back in the day. Now we are so fortunate to have a full recording setup.
Yeah.
In our house.
Right.
You can do 1,000 takes and be not happy with any of them.
Right.
Like it's kind of a weird duality, because I think that does lead to a lot of like, oh, we can fix it in post. We can nudge this one little thing. But for, people like us who have been so dialed for so long, there's just this added comfort of like, wait, we can flush these ideas out and get to like hear them back and like really like add in that extra.
I'm still all about that. Like if we start modulating stuff and start like moving stuff from here and there.
Yeah.
I'm still in the mentality. I'm like, just
just play it again.
Give me 4 hours. Let me just mash on this and I will come back and I will kill this.
Yeah.
Timing, everything will be perfect and it'll be more natural feeling for me.
Exactly. I think really where the benefit of it comes from, and we won't tangent on this for too long, but I think where some of the benefit comes from for the like being able to like nudge over like one note and things like that is when somebody has an idea, if they're competent enough to make it that way,
right,
they can show you it without you having to redo a whole take to try and try it.
Yeah.
So you can be like, look, I kind of think if you like play it here instead of here, and then if the person playing it likes it, they can be like, oh, let me practice it that way for like, like
Absolutely.
you said, give me a little time to dial it in.
And that's definitely part of what we've been dealing with in this process is we go through initial recordings and then I'll practice that and then I'll come back to the table with anything additional that I want to add or, subtract, however you want to deal with that. And then by the time you get to the final recording process, you're still going to be reteaching yourself that song.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really know what you're doing until the thing is completed and in your hand. And then you can go back and learn your song.
Yeah, even then, you still, once you played it live for like 6 months, it's a different song.
I swear, like we had probably 20 different versions of this song. By the time we were done with how many times we edited it, like
there's just so much that we wanted to do with this song because it was the first song that we wrote. This Blood Money, the song that we just dropped. It was the first song. The lyrics are about how we met and how we took the risk on Ricky and how he's taking a risk on us and how he's a sure bet. He's just basically being cocky, telling us he's a sure bet. You just got to make sure that you trust in me and then we can do this.
Yeah.
And what was cool is so that song we met right after meeting maybe 30 minutes or something. And he just started to throw it on and all of us started vibing. I was like, hey, could you do this here? Adam's like, can you do this here? He starts playing something. As they're playing it on the loop, I'm like, I start writing and it just clicked.
Yeah, it was just something out of nothing.
The way that it snapped, it was like, oh my God, how have we not been working together? It felt like we had been working together for decades.
Yeah.
We had just met.
Hell yeah.
It clicked. And it was awesome.
Hey, that sounds definitely like it was meant to be. Yeah. And actually, usually this is where I try to break off into more kind of the process questions. But since you brought up Blood Money, let's go ahead and talk about it for a second. Because it just came out. It's your newest single. It came out in July. And first of all, it's super cool. It's super tight. That was the thing I noticed right away. Everything is really dialed. I mean, the guitar is super chunky. The vocals were chopping it up. The drums were heavy. Obviously, the bass was great.
Right.
And it just had this kind of this element where it's you could tell influences for sure, but it still feels fresh. It definitely feels like it was made with the helping hand of Echo.
We do.
There's some of his trademarks in there for sure.
Absolutely.
But it feels very like today, which I very much enjoyed.
Yeah, that's one of the things we brought to the table is we wanted to do something that's very, very much new school, but pays homage to a lot of old school.
Yeah.
So you'll hear stuff as you go through. You're going to hear some Wu-Tang stuff that we just kind of like throw it in there. We have some just, old school hip hop.
There was a Gangstar part at one of the beginning of something too, actually.
Gangstar? No, it was something else. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, he makes Echo makes a reference toward Linkin Park in one of the songs. We have influences in some of the other songs that will be released later that have a lot of Faith No More and Incubus feel to some of the musicianship of it. So there's some really interesting and fun stuff kind of come out after this. But to be back on the Blood Money, that's,
Yeah, that was just, we wanted to be able to display all of our abilities to the fullest, and that one I really felt like.
Yeah.
Where like
everything into that one song for sure.
A good single for sure. Like I think that was a solid choice to choose,
It
especially
felt right because, like I said, it's the first song that we came into the room and wrote together, and we just felt like that's a good place to start. This is where we started.
Introduction.
Yeah.
And now, based off of some of the things you said about other tracks, like, did you have kind of a direction in mind you wanted to go with this? Or has it very much just been every song is kind of as it's happened?
Yes and no. I mean, we want to keep unique. We want to be different. We're lovers of all genres. What made us really initially click is we are all big nu metal fans. We grew up on nu metal, and it's been making a comeback, which has been great to see.
Yeah.
And just, society is becoming more open to the fusion of music, where you're seeing hip hop artists work with metal artists work with hip hop artists, country artists working with metal artists and hip hop artists. It's all coming together, and it's awesome. And that's kind of where we're trying to go with too. So like, you're not going to really hear the same style with everything that's going to be coming out of us. You'll see similarities and things that show that it is distinctly Dreamst8.
Right. It's coming from the same world, but our world is very vast.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And actually, it's funny because that's usually for like one-on-one question or interviews, I usually ask people what are their thoughts on like the way of new music. And that is kind of the biggest standing point right now, is that so much music is integrated into so much music now. And the lines of like genre solidity have become so blurred, and because of that, really cool things are kind of getting to create themselves. That, like, early people were trying to pioneer, and just like the world wasn't quite ready for, like you look at like the Linkin Parks and the Korns of it all, and they were obviously on to something.
For sure.
Do this.
But everybody had to like hold the line. They're like, whoa, no, we can't put that with this. And now here we are many years later putting that with this, and it's great.
Yeah, no one thought that metalcore and hardcore could mix with hip hop, and it's happening, and we're doing it.
A little ahead, but it's what felt right. It's like we enjoyed different types of music, so why just keep to doing only that one type? Put all of your influences and all of your love into it, and you're going to enjoy the music the most. And by that, the fans and the people that hear it are going to feel that joy and enjoy it the way that you do as well.
Yeah. Well, I think also we're fortunate enough that our generation has kind of grown up with both, even when they were separate. You know what I mean? Like we got to hear a lot more of like, especially like a lot of more like aggressive rap, just in its sense, like a lot, like we grew up with like Immortal Technique and stuff like that. That man did not pull his punches. You know what I mean? So like here were these people coming from the heavier genres that would hear stuff like that and be like, wait a second, this dude is tough. And then vice versa, people who kind of came from the harder edges of hip hop were like, wait, actually these chugs are kind of chuggy, and I wonder what they could happen. So it is kind of cool to see where it's gotten to at this point. And I think Blood Money is kind of a good example of that present day experience for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we see a lot of people popping up, these newer nu metal bands. A lot of them are doing good. Everybody deserves their respect. But you can tell some of them are definitely cut and paste.
Yeah, or like,
which is unfortunate. I'm sure they have plenty of individuality in there, and I don't know if that's label pressures or anything like that, because sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Well, I think some of that'll work itself out in time. Also, some of that is still,
it does.
It's like it's still a pendulum swing. So like things are kind of becoming more prevalent now, but like
It's definitely a more recent
Yeah,
thing,
they have
like
to-
the last couple years especially.
Yeah, but they have to live in that sense of familiarity. I think before we can start seeing like true envelope push, it has to like resettle itself to a degree. And so we are now kind of reaching that point where things are going to expand.
Yeah.
And that's I think where it's really going to kind of come to a head, and like the next probably like 7 years are really going to open the floodgates for what's going to happen up next.
It was, I mean, really, I kind of noticed like during COVID, a lot of people kind of went back to their comfort music, their old music. And so you notice now a lot of these old new metal bands
Well, yeah, a lot of
played in almost 2 decades.
they're all coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, Alien Ant Farm just came back. I'm like, whoa, what?
I'm
Crazy.
so stoked about that.
Right.
That's neither here nor there. I'm a big fan.
Limp Bizkit at the end of the month, like
Right. Yeah.
I remember the last time I said I was that you could be going to a Limp Bizkit concert.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just it's awesome though to see this return. And I mean, you're seeing mainstream artists as well do this, like where what was Rodney Radke doing a song with Tech Nine, Megan Thee Stallion doing that song with Spirit Box.
Yeah.
Seeing these mainstream artists do these fusions with metal and hip hop, it really brings it to the masses. And I mean, I'm excited for that because it's showing how good it sounds together. There's no reason to be splitting it up. It sounds great together.
Yeah, I don't think they understand what kind of doors they're opening, but they'll see it, like you said, within the next 5-7 years for sure.
Yeah. Well, I
Pioneering.
think coming from the bigger names too will kind of give an opportunity for it to become more quote unquote palatable.
Right.
And I imagine it'll be a little more successful than the whole like Tim McGraw and Nelly combination we saw in our youth. So that's neither here nor there. Getting back to some of the questions though, what do you all do to deal with like creative differences? Like how do y'all handle that as kind of the group?
We just kind of keep the honesty and the communication, man. It's really about just getting it off your chest and not holding on to shit for 3 months and then blowing up on each other for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
We as humans tend to do that a lot. And over the past few years, I've learned how to kind of get away from that. Because before I was a little more like very direct, like, oh, this has to happen this way. And now I'm just like, this is just going to happen this way. And we're just all, if we have any differences, we can talk this out. It's not even a big deal. We just get it on the table. Hey, what do you think? This is what I think. Yeah. And then it's like we just make a compromise, man, and just go with what feels right in the moment.
We definitely
overthink it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We definitely tend to have a good close vibe, but you know, if there's just something that one of us isn't happy with that's going on, we're all open to say it because we realize like if we're saying it, then there's something that could be better about it. Like we all have different aspects that we know when what's coming out of our voice or out of his bass, we're going to be the ones who really know the best of it because that's our instrument.
Right. A lot of that's trust too. We have to trust in each other, and if we don't trust in each other, then we're just going to fight constantly.
Yeah. And when you got talented people like this to work with, makes it a lot easier to trust in them, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this is like working with him, working with Echo, and I mean even the past musicians that we've been honored to work with we've been with some really talented people.
I can't wait to start working with Sean, dude.
Yeah. I'm excited to have him on board.
Yeah,
he's got so many cool ideas.
And I think that's a healthy approach to have on it. Like if this doesn't work, there's always something else is kind of what it feels. You know what I mean? Like nothing is as 100% permanent until it's the final version of the song. So being able to like say something in the beginning instead of waiting till later, I think goes a long way because then people get to hear the version that the band loves. And I think, it's okay to like take the back seat on something when you love it 85% in exchange for when you have something you only love 65%, being able to say, hey, can we at least find the 85% to 100? You know what I mean?
You find you're building albums where some of the members won't even go back and listen to their own album because it's not what they wanted. And they kind of kept their mouth shut when they should have just what was on their mind.
Yeah.
Get it out now. If you might argue for a minute with somebody just trying to get that balance back. You know?
Well, then the creative juices, I think sometimes they can inspire in the moment, be like, no, this is definitely the best thing to play. And you're like, well, let's talk about it.
Right. Sometimes somebody has a very strong opinion, but it's okay to debate that.
Yes. Discuss it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Share counter observations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I dig that. And then I guess on an individual level, and we'll go one at a time, whoever wants to answer first. What are some of your favorite songs to play right now?
Well, to play right now, because we haven't been doing, you
haven't really performed the new stuff. What is the song you're most excited about off the EP then? Let's modify that.
Well, it'll probably be the third single that we drop. I'm not going to give you the name right now.
Okay.
But that song has so much heart and passion. It was the final song that we wrote out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And this song is going to melt people's brains. It's going to melt your hearts.
Hell yeah.
This is going to bring the energy that when you really think about what Dreamst8 is, this is going to be the song.
Damn.
The song is the single right now, and it's hard. It comes hard, and it has a lot of, diversity and stuff.
Yeah.
This song is the heart.
Okay. Well, definitely.
Now this is the fire. This is our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
This is our, this is our brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely been a big part of the evolution of the band is, as we're also, we're growing older and we want to have stuff that also has a little bit more meaning. Something that really is going to strike people that even can help people.
Yeah.
Like we deal with mental health stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big, pusher of people, trying to work through that. And I mean, when you have a gift, you want to be able to help people.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, and we think that there is, a lot of negative music, and it needs that. We need that yin to our yang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But right now, people need to hear something positive, and it doesn't need to be someone patting you on the back and giving you a participation trophy in a sense. It just needs somebody to be there to give you that reassurance and tell you that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone. People deal with this. It's just, really ultimately, you're not alone in this.
Yeah.
Don't feel ostracized or weird because you deal with depression or anxiety. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to hide it. And there's a good portion of us that deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always work with the outcasts and underdogs. We've always done it. There's like the best example is is that Diane Word song where they have all the freaks, geeks, and weirdos in their video. And that I kind of feel like DS8 is carrying that too. Like we bring in the freaks, geeks, and weirdos. We have a lot of love in the Juggalo community.
Yeah,
we embrace all these people. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your ethnicity is, none of that. We embrace all of you. We love all of you.
Hell yeah. Well, definitely super excited for this track now. Is it safe to assume that that's also the one you're looking forward to most?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
hell yeah.
I went all in on my vocal abilities, so I mean, everything together is just the message, the singing, the rapping, the bass, every piece of it sounds awesome.
Hell
I
yeah.
think it was the quickest song we wrote too.
Oh, okay.
The one we
didn't right away with it.
Yeah, I think that Echo had brought me a beat, and I sat on that for a couple of days and wrote a whole series of bass lines.
Mm-hmm.
And we came to the table and we just kind of started, okay, this doesn't quite make sense, but this definitely feels like it needs to be on top here, and just kind of layered it like that, and then just kind of brought everything else together, and it just fire right away. And we were so super stoked on it.
Hell yeah.
So
you'll definitely have to tell me the name of it off camera.
for sure.
I'm definitely stoked to hear that.
I'll let you listen to it off camera too.
Oh, hell yeah.
We got pre-production stuff that you can listen to, but it's not anything that we want to publicize quite yet.
Totally. Well, y'all will have to wait.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited about that.
We got another single coming up in the next few weeks after we get done running more promotion for Blood Money.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have some other stuff. We're planning on filming our first music video coming back and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely looking forward to all that.
Getting the mask back.
Yeah.
Excited for that too. We've always been a mask band.
Okay.
So that's
Very Slipknot of you.
yeah. Going back
In a sense,
going back to the roots. Like
Definitely
there's a
paying,
lot of new metal, honestly, that has done the face
Doing it a lot now for
the
sure.
mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of our way of paying homage to the originators of this genre.
Absolutely. That's where you bounce back and forth from a lot of face paint to masks, and no one thing is off the table when it comes to that. So each individual member could totally change character from one show to another.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine. It's just all about being yourself. If you want to express your multiple personalities through multiple shows, let's get that done.
Yeah.
And then each one of those characters that you connect with is going to start making you kind of like adapt into like, an actor mindset where you're kind of, you can move yourself into that character, and that mask is going to make you do certain motions.
I was going to say, I bet that even helps for, kind of touching on, the depression and like different states aspect.
Absolutely.
Like you can, depending on the way you feel in the day, go onto the stage as that. And like even the audience will eventually learn it and start to become accepting of the presentation that you choose to bring on.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of a cool picture to paint.
Oh yeah, like I'm really excited about this new mask that I got made. My good friend Trevor is putting it together, and it's a homage to my family's from Guatemala. My mom was born and raised there, and so we're Mayan, of course. So this mask has homages to that, to their Jaguar warrior mask, but there's a lot of variations to this that's going to be special and unique to me, and I'm really excited to bring it out.
Hell yeah. Well, that's rad. Damn, now I wish I'd realized that I would ask y'all to bring stuff on. But I guess, we want people to be able to see y'all in some respect. And then getting back into it, I guess we've kind of touched on a lot of like the questions in some way, shape, or form. So I don't want to dig into too many of these as the way they are, but I am curious when it comes to like either like performing or like getting into the studio before the group kind of does things as a unit. Do you have any like rituals or like pre-game experiences that you go through?
We in the Dreamst8 era, when we were dealing with that, a lot of that was we do a lot. We basically group everybody together, whether that's everybody that we're pooling in our group, of all of our fans and our band together, and we kind of just take pictures and kind of just personalize and just kind of get the bugs.
There's a lot of community was a big part of what we were doing before,
Right.
which is definitely missed. I hear that a lot from our fans, that the community that we were able to bring together with it was something special. And
yeah, you'll see if you look back into some of our pictures on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, you'll see that we have large group pictures of just us with just random people, and all those people just were there for us. They were dedicated. They would do anything at a drop of a dime,
Hell yeah. No, that's a cool one to have for sure. And I'm sure once y'all get back into doing that, that's going to become such a big part of it again, especially now. I think that was something that was missing for so long, that being able to bring that back. And
that's definitely one of the elements that we want to continue on with. It just felt right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move into this next part, which is all hypothetical questions, y'all get ready for those. We got one more individual answer question to go. And this is probably the densest question in the interview, but we've talked a lot about, the experiences with music, the actions, the reactions, the roles in the bands, and everything that's come with that. But when it's just you and the music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's rare that I can find times that I'm not listening to music, honestly. Like, it's such a huge part of my life. It's like breathing, almost, to be honest. Like, it really is. It's, to put it simply, I guess it's life.
Yeah, for me personally, I've dealt with a lot of traumas growing up and stuff, and sometimes music is the only thing that can pull those heartstrings. Like,
Oh yeah.
I can see a lot of things happen throughout the day, travesties here and there, and I don't have a physical response like most people do. But for some reason, a certain song will come on, and man, that is the only thing that'll start bringing the tears. I felt connected to the song. music's always been like that for me. It's just connection.
Yeah.
Connection.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you both for sharing that.
Yeah.
But now let's go ahead and let's get on into these hypothetical questions. And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward. And for these, it'll all kind of just be whoever wants to answer first, but I'd love to hear both the answers.
For sure.
If the band could share a bill with any like fully established performance, the only thing is they have to currently be active, who would you want it to be?
Honestly, I would kind of love to do something with Slipknot still. To this day, they put on a great show, and you know it would be a gigantic show, and we would vibe well with it. That would be perfect.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I would love that. That'd be nuts.
And what about you?
For me, that's really hard to say. There's so many bands that I would love to have that experience with, but I think that being able to share the stage with like a band like Limp Bizkit, even if they came down just for a little while and did some smaller shows, like some of these bigger bands do every now and again, that would be an awesome opportunity to be able to share the stage with them. Yeah. I heard that they're just super random guys and they're super fun to hang out with, and I would just like to.
A local band actually went and toured with them not too long, like last year.
One of our locals?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh damn, who was that? Do you know?
I'm trying to remember the name. I can't remember the name right now, unfortunately.
Everybody at them in the comments if you know who it is. I'm super curious. And that actually segues great into this next question. Subsequently, who's a local act that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to share the stage with yet, but when y'all start performing again, you think would be fun?
Oh man, I've worked with most local rappers, honestly.
We've done a lot of stuff with a lot of bands. Okay, at this point, the bands that we have played with might have already broken up and reformed a new band. So it's a lot of the same members.
Fair. Well, we'll count this as new bands then.
So there's definitely still new bands. The guys in Spirits have the positive energy. They are just super cool. Sean Beard, I've had a lot of history with him. And all those guys, they're just super positive, super cool. Their online presence is just straight heart. They do, emo core kind of thing. They're kind of like doing that thing, but those guys are super cool. Unfortunately, Vintersea just fucking.
That would have been a good one.
That's why I didn't lost Aveen. She moved to Northern California, but that was one band. I have some history with Carl Winnery. We were in a band way back in the day called Red Tide together, and just seeing all his progress and just the monstrosity that is that band is just amazing. And the other one that I could think of is Vio. I can't think of the name of it. I can't remember how to pronounce it properly. But the lead singer's got that big long mustache. Yeah. Those guys are super cool, man. I would love to share the stage with them anytime.
Funny. I just realized something. A long time ago when I was younger, I actually tried hitting up Red Tide when they were looking for a vocalist.
Oh, that's funny.
Because that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I was just barely over a teenager.
Funny. So you could have been in that band, dude.
I did not realize that. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, the world's smaller than we think.
Yeah, we could have crossed paths way earlier and not even realized it.
Yeah. And now, what about you? What are some local acts that you think would be cool?
So, I don't know as many of the local metal and rock bands. Because I've worked more in the hip hop scene. And I've worked with a lot of local rappers, most of them. The Chicharrones.
Okay.
I haven't had the opportunity to work with them. Those guys are really awesome.
Yeah.
I think they would be someone cool to do something with. And even with what we do, honestly, it could be fitting because they have that little, I think they have a drummer with them too, don't they?
Yeah.
So that could be something that could be cool.
Hell yeah. No, I dig that. And then for this next one, it's kind of an obscure question, but I'm pretty excited to hear the answers for this. Let's do the new EP. So, y'all will know it better than we do. But if the new EP could be the soundtrack for any movie, what movie would you pick?
That's a wild one.
Free Guy.
I don't know what movie that is.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, duh. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Huh?
I mean, yeah. Okay.
God, what would I say?
I know. I'm trying to put the pieces together on that one, and like I could see it because it's a Ryan Reynolds movie, and I think any music could technically work with it.
Because it's so random, like the way that we write stuff. So every time he switches scenes and does stuff, each one of the parts of our songs could definitely match and carry that scene from one piece to the other.
Now I'm like,
and it has like
curious about the
has
album.
a total like you can totally have the cut scene and jump into another part of a totally different song.
Yeah.
And it would just feel like you're in the still feel like you're in the same score, same universe.
Yeah.
Moving it along.
Hell yeah. Well, that's definitely an interesting take for sure.
Maybe something like animated. I could see like I'm a big anime fan. Like I got
Samesies.
one immediately. I was like, "Yes, you're a Nakama. That is awesome." So, I mean, honestly, like I could see that, and I mean, there's a lot of randomness to that too, and like just the vibrantness and the art and all of that too. Like any type of anime, I could actually see like just something really cool like that. I could see us having like a soundtrack too.
Damn, now I'm curious
Cool.
which anime would be good for it. Again, I don't know the EP, so I can't pin.
I'm still trying to figure
That's
that
what
out.
I'm
too.
trying to think of something, but
There's some
like-
cool stuff there.
It'd have to be something a little bit on the heavier side.
yeah,
Maybe like one of the like late '90s Gundam movies would be cool.
I could kind of see that. I could kind of see
That-
that.
Yeah.
would
What else?
definitely work,
There's like
dude.
something that's like right in here.
Yeah.
That, like it's a mech one, but it's gonna come to me after we're done. I'm gonna wish I had come up with it now, but we won't sit on this for too long because I've got one last hypothetical question to go. And this one, also another fun one, but definitely not as obscure as that. If you could add one abstract instrument into the band, so not just like the general drums, guitar, keyboards.
Easy for me.
We've already talked about this quite a bit, actually. So.
Okay, well then go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a saxophone honestly would be really cool to bring in.
Okay, hell
I
yeah.
think that would be a really cool, unique sound, especially for a few particular songs. Yeah,
One of the bands that I've been frequently listening to has a full-time saxophone player, so it's been quite interesting to hear heavy music with a saxophone.
Yeah, it could definitely. It's a screaming instrument. So if you
absolutely.
like lean into it, it can definitely.
They're bringing that they're bringing that like Kenny G, Bill Clinton sexiness. to
right.
it,
And
you know,
combined with
that's
like this
great.
guy, he has like a funky style of bass where he's a slap basser, so like that would vibe super good, honestly, to do something like that.
Hell yeah.
Like saxophone players hit us up, we'll do a song like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought y'all were going to say accordion. I was ready for it, but saxophone is definitely a super solid option.
Yeah.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
All right.
What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and February?
Between now and February, we should have
We may have
videos done. We're planning on doing a big show at the end of the year. It just depends on what we can get accomplished with the music up to this point. We have a lot of stuff to still do. We have music videos that we want to record. We still have musicians to get into the room.
want to have that fully dialed in, like big time.
Hell yeah.
If you're a guitar player, drummer, if you're into new metal, hit us up.
Hell yeah.
We will definitely work with you.
Yeah. And then for this next one, why don't I have you both look straight at your cameras and tell everybody how they can find you?
All right. Well, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. Just check out, it is Facebook, Dreamst8. YouTube is also Dreamst8. And the Instagram is something a little
I
different.
think it's your dreamstate.us.
Yeah.
But you can also get us on all your favorite streaming platforms right now. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on all of it. So
Yep. And that,
even some of the smaller stuff, Deezer, iHeartRadio.
mhm.
Yeah, we're on we've gone through a lot of stuff. So check us out. Look for Dreamst8. You'll see the Blood Money single up there, man. Please give it a like, give it a listen. Tell us what you think.
Hell yeah. And I'll put like the key piece of information on the screen there between y'all so everybody will know how to find you.
Cool.
Awesome.
And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else y'all want to put on while you're on here?
Not right. Not for me. we've basically given the shout out to everybody we need to.
I was gonna say we definitely name dropped pretty heavy throughout this whole episode.
Yeah. A lot of
We
history.
keep name dropping. We just like, I think you got the point, bud.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Then with that being said, we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Raw Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation, and anybody can answer in whichever order they'd like. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
I'll go ahead and answer that first. I picked up this album. I think it was Ozfest 2000.
Mm-hmm.
They were a very new band at that time. They're called Ultraspank. They're a new metal band that was gaining a lot of popularity.
Mhm.
Their vocalist had a lot of potential. I think they did 2 albums and then they just kind of broke up.
Ah, damn.
But if you look up Ultraspank, their first album, they have songs like 5 and Butter,
Mm-hmm.
and it just carried. You'll hear it. It's that really early new metal, old school feel, man.
Hell yeah. Well, that's a solid rec. I haven't heard that, so I'm definitely looking forward to that.
For sure. Very obscure. Not a lot of people know.
Big fan. That just fits this question to a T. Thank you for that.
I don't even know on that one, honestly.
Oh, well, now you've got one to check out too.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh man, that's tough. That honestly is a really hard question.
Obscure hip hop.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. Why don't we go more in the realm that you kind of like base in?
Right, because I mean, I'm a big fan. So I'm a juggalo. I'm a big fan of like horrorcore. I
So
grew
many
up.
obscure bands throughout that too.
I mean, there's a lot with that. And I grew up loving. I love Twisted, ICP, and all that stuff. Something that's within that genre, someone who really be really good to check out. Actually, this is a current one, and these guys have been doing awesome. There's some friends of mine. They're called the Unforgiven. They have a really cool, unique sound. They're doing the Gathering for the first time this year, but
Okay, cool.
very awesome, very heavy mixture of metal and hip hop, where they have like wicked screams, and they're great rappers as well.
Hell yeah. Well, I have 2 cool things to check out, so thank you both for those recs. All right, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Dude, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Pleasure.
Hell yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy,
My name is Adam Von Clausen.
And Knockturnal.
and we're signing off. Later, y'all.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.